Phil, it's been almost 3 years since 4 people were found brutally murdered inside a motorcycle shop in Chesnee, South Carolina. Cops there don't call this a cold case, and we don't either. The only thing cold about this case is the heart of the mass murderer who's still on the loose. Phil Keating investigates.
For the employees at Superbike Motorsports, November 6, 2003 was supposed to be a typical day. Owner Scott Ponder, his mom and bookkeeper, Beverly Guy, service manager Brian Lucas, and mechanic Chris Sherbert.
This was an exceptionally brutal crime scene.
Detective Anthony LaChica with the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office.
There was no mistake about it that this person intended to kill all these people.
At 2:46 p.m. on that fateful day, the last customer exited the motorbike shop, leaving behind only one other person inside with the employees. Police believe that man was a co-conspirator because at 2:50 p.m., a gunman opened fire.
We believe that the killings happened consecutively and very rapidly.
All 4 were killed.
What is your emergency?
It's at Superbike Motorsports.
Okay, and what's the problem?
Apparently everybody's been shot up here.
911 caller Noel Lee was the first to arrive at the bloody crime scene, seeing his best friends, Scott and Brian, lying dead outside.
I get out of my car, and the first thing I see is Brian. And I said, okay, guys, joke's over.
And you thought they were play acting because they knew you were coming.
Exactly. And I looked over, and that's when I saw Scott, and I saw the blood still running down the asphalt.
I remember running out the door because I couldn't believe it.
Terry Guy's life was destroyed by the killings. He lost both his wife, Beverly, and his stepson, Scott.
How difficult and challenging were the following months for you?
Real difficult because I spent a lot of nights just crawled up in a corner just crying all night.
One key piece of new information just obtained by at-large is that investigators believe there was just one shooter here that day who methodically planned out and executed what truly were 4 bloody executions. Several scenarios exist as to the order of events. The killer may have started in the back with those 2 victims, then finished here out front with the other 2 victims. Could have been vice versa or a combination of all of that. That's simply a detail that investigators will not share. Police have sketched the possible killer and vehicles, but nearly 3 years later, they have no suspects.
We know this is a solvable crime and it will be solved.
Last year, Brian's parents, Lorraine and Tom Lucas, moved from Kentucky to South Carolina to ensure they would see justice.
We were afraid it was going to end up to be a cold case if somebody didn't just keep pushing and pushing them along.
As far as motive, robbery was ruled out. Nothing was stolen. So could it be an unsatisfied customer seeking revenge against the store? The shop sold bikes on the internet all over the country, so detectives believe a vengeful customer could be anywhere. Authorities also investigated the backgrounds of all 4 victims for financial, drug, or relationship problems, but so far, no luck. After the crime, a distraught Terry Guy sought solace with other victims' family members, like Brian Lucas's sister Katie, and in an amazing twist of fate, they eventually fell in love and married. Together, they hope to find justice for their lost loved ones.
Can you possibly forgive whoever did this?
Forgive? As they get the electric chair, yes.
How optimistic are you that that day's going to come?
I feel in my heart it's going to come in my life. I mean, I hopefully soon, but, I have to look at reality.
Phil, I know the families were anxious that we get involved. The story has received considerable attention locally, but what's the theory of our getting involved in this national broadcast?
Well, they contacted us saying, hey, perhaps somebody from around the country will remember, hey, I know a guy who was really upset with a motorbike he purchased from some guy in South Carolina, and then that may proceed to lead to leads and basically suspects and possibly an arrest. But there is a $125,000 reward available if you can help solve this case.
Phil, thanks. Folks, if you have any information about this case, you're asked to contact the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office at 864-503-4608. or 864-58-CRIME.